So I have no idea how I'm going to do this and pause the video as I move stuff around, but here we go. To take the turntable out of the plinth, the first thing you need to do is always take the head shell off, lock the arm in place. You need to make sure these 3 screws are just dangling there loosely. There's 3 of these. When you lift up the table, you have to push the screw in that's kind of dangling there. I'll try to do this with one hand. And then you can kind of lift it out of the position. And then you have to do the same thing on the other ones. And then you just lift the platter out. I mean the table out. Hold on one second. When you lift it out, you need to make sure that you can pull the cables through the plinth. Yours has a bottom, so you need to make sure that the cables feed back up. And you can take the table with the cables out and just set it down somewhere like this. What you need the 7mm wrench for is these 3 screws here. 1, 2, 3. They're a little bit of a pain in the ass to get started. Once you get them started, you can spin them on and then tighten them up. This is the motor with the spindle. I'm also going to send you a little screwdriver to adjust. You can see it here. That little guy here. So if you raise and lower this, that controls the speed. So see how it's nice and black there in the middle? That's what rides most of the time. So what I do, when I put this back together, I set the pitch control to the center, and I try to align the wheel with the spindle. It should align pretty close to the center of this range. This is your 33 range, 45, 78. Once you get these 3 screws loose, then you have to disconnect the motor from the electrical components underneath. What I do, I take a box. That's an Amazon box. I got a hole in it. I flip it upside down, and I let the center, this piece, sit in the hole so that the rest of the table sits nicely on here. You don't want anything resting on the arm. So I'll show you what I mean. Like so. Nice and flat on here. Nothing's resting on the arm. So here's the motor. When you put this back in, the 3 pins that point up towards the top, they only fit one way. So it looks like they're evenly spaced, they're not. This connector, these are the wires leading to the 2 coils in the motor. To get this off, this is your power plug. Take that out. Take a flathead. Take this cap off. And there they are. So that's important, you put them back in the same spot. You have some black wires here. The 2 black ones feed the strobe light. But underneath of that, you see a green and a black on pin 3. Right? I'll count. This is a dummy pin. 1, 2, 3. So underneath this guy, there's a black and green, and underneath pin 4 is a white and orange. To get these up, takes a little bit of practice, and what I use is a little screwdriver to jiggle them up. So all they do is they slide on these pins. So you either take a little screwdriver to get underneath them to, like I said, jiggle them up. But they do come up and they slide down these pins. So, and then to put it together, it's the reverse. I don't have the motor removed yet. You can take the electrical stuff off first, or the motor off first. If you take the motor off first, it dangles there. So I like to do this part first, and then when the wires are out, I take the motor out. Okay, let me know if that's something you can do, and we'll give it a shot.